Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel where today we're going to be talking about the goals that I have set for myself for 2021. And there's a lot of them, 7 to be exact. So we're just going to get right into it. So I did break this up into the channel goals and the reading goals, but it's actually really easy because I only set myself one channel goal, and that is that I need to be much more consistent about looking up the pronunciation for author names as well as words that I don't know actually how to pronounce. The words are a lot easier to find. Sometimes I can't always find the author names, but I at least need to look. And I need to do this prior to sitting down to film because it has become abundantly clear that I have been mispronouncing certain things. And so I don't really want to do that. I don't want to mispronounce names. I don't want to mispronounce these words. And so I just need to be much more consistent about actually looking it up. So that is my goal for this channel. So let's go ahead and jump into the reading goals. And the very first one is similar to a goal that I had in 2020, and that is that I want to read every single book that appears on my excited for lists. So I made over the past couple of months, I have made these videos where I talk about a particular genre and the 5 books in that genre that I am the most excited to read. And those genres are fantasy, science fiction, romance, nonfiction, and comics. And if it appeared on one of those videos, I want to read it in 2021. And really, the intent behind this is that I really do want to read books when I'm the most excited for them, right? Because that's when I'm going to, like, I'm the most likely to enjoy it the most. And so I set a goal similar to this for myself in 2020, and I really enjoyed it. I had such a good time picking up these books that I was excited for. I didn't end up loving a lot of them, but I was excited to pick them up, and I'm really glad that I did it. So I decided to go ahead and do this for 2021 as well. So my next goal is that I do want to, every month, I want to read 2 books from authors or who have main books that have main characters that are different than myself, or at least, at the very least, different than kind of societal norms, right? Diverse books, basically. Um, and specifically, I want one of those books to be from an author of color or featuring a main character of color. And then the other book should just be something else, right? So whether that is queer or fat or disabled or neurodiverse or mental health issues or eating disorders or something different, right? So that I can get a wide variety of perspectives. So, the next goal after that is actually inspired by one of my goals for last year. So, last year, my goal was that I wanted to get my physical TBR down below 50, which I did really well on. So, in that vein, I'm not going to work on my physical TBR, I'm going to work on my digital one. And I'm going to read the 24 oldest books on my Goodreads TBR shelf. And they're old. There's a bunch from like 2013 up and through like 2014. So I don't know that I'm going to love these books, but I do want to at least try them. So, the one thing that I really liked about working on my physical TBR this last year is I had a lot of old books on my physical TBR, books that have been sitting there for a really long time. And it really kind of forced the situation where it was like do or die. Either read it or don't and unhaul it, but do something with it. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with my Goodreads TBR as well. Either decide to read it and try it, or decide you're not going to and just delete it, right? And so because of that, for all of these books, I will accept it if I read it, if I DNF it, or if I just decide I don't want to read it and I delete it off of Goodreads. All of those work. And I'm really excited for this. It's just kind of a weight that sits on me to know that I have these books that have been sitting there for so long and I just haven't done anything with them. So I'm very excited to work on this particular goal. And then also kind of similar to that TBR goal from last year, I have currently have 4 series that are sitting on my I need to reread them shelf. So this is a shelf where I just put it because I need to reread it to determine if I still want to keep them. And right now there are 4 series, and those 4 series are The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, The Steampunk Chronicles by Katie Cross, the Girl of Fire and Thorns trilogy by Ray Carson, and then the Gold Seer trilogy also by Ray Carson. And I want to have read all of those by the end of the year, and then of course decided if I want to keep them and put them in with the books that I love, or decide that I don't want to keep it and unhaul them. And I'm very excited about this as well because I would like to reclaim that shelf, right? So this is going to be a really great way to do that. And then I have 2 low key goals. So I did this I did this last year as well, where I had low key goals. And the whole intent is not necessarily to hit the goal that I set for myself, but to make progress and do it as I can and understand that I'm probably not going to hit the goal, and that's okay because these are the things where progress is really what matters. So the very first one is that I want to, like, at the end of 2021, I do not want to have any books on my physical TBR shelf that is more than a year old. And this is a really big thing because there are books that have been sitting on my shelf for years that I still haven't read. Not a ton. I have about 15 on my physical TBR shelf that are really old and also haven't been accounted for any other goal. And so I would actually need to make an effort to read them. And I think that I can do it again. But again, this is another one where it's just like it just needs to be progress. And so even if I only read 6 of these books by the end of 2021, that's still awesome because I do still want to continue to emphasize reading the books that are on my physical TBR shelf, especially the ones that have been sitting there for so long. Now, if I can get through all of them, that would be amazing and I would be extremely happy with myself. But if I don't, as long as I make progress. And then the last low key goal that I have is that I would. Okay, so right now I'm in the middle of 18 series. That means I've read at least one book, and there's at least one more book that has been published that I just haven't gotten to yet. So 18 of them. And at the end of 2021, I just want to make sure that I'm not in the middle of any more than 25. Which I know, usually you talk about the numbers going down, right? And this one, the numbers are going up. But the thing is, like with the books that I'm already planning on reading next year, a lot of them are the first books in a series. And so reality is that the number of series I'm in the middle of is going to go up. Even if I heavily emphasize reading the series that I'm in the middle of, it's very likely that it's going to go up. And this is a low key goal. So I just want to kind of think about it as like when I have the ability to choose a book from a series, I should do so. And so that's really what the aim is. The reality is I don't want to get to the end of 2021 and be in the middle of like 50 series, right? That would be so bad. That would be completely out of control and not what I want at all. And so if I can finish series next year, that would be really, really good. And again, it would be just making progress on it, which is really what I want from these low key goals. So those are all 7 goals that I have, which is kind of a lot. And I did actually have to do research for not research, but planning out some things to make sure that this was even possible. And it is. It might be a little tight depending on how things go, but it is completely possible. And I am really excited to work on all of these in the coming year. So that's all I have, you guys. Comment down below if you guys have been thinking about your 2021 goals, if you even have them. I know like 2020 has just been quite the year. And so a lot of us are burnt out and maybe not wanting to think about goals. But if you are and you have made some, let me know them down below. But that's all I have. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And until next time, have happy reading, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.